How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and I hope you are having a fantastic day. We have so many updates, including those and that, and also that. So, if you guys are new to the channel, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys like it. This is my shop, and some of you will have noticed that I've done a little bit of modification to the shop. Not only the cars inside it, but the shop itself. And the number one thing I did was the lighting. I got a bunch of cheap Amazon LED lights, but it lit up the entire room. Now, I still have to do some of that. That part is a little bit dark, but because I didn't want to move all of my cars, I just left it like that for now. But the place where I'm gonna set up all my lifts and all that stuff, that's gonna be very well lit, and I can't wait to get started on that. But I know you guys wanna know where my Lamborghini is. My Lamborghini is not in the shop as of yet. It's still at my house, and I will be doing a new video on that car in the next week. I know you guys wanna see how much I spent on that car, and honestly, I'm really curious as well. So we're gonna find out together next week. But right now, we're gonna take a look at all my projects and where I'm at with all these various builds. So starting off with the Ferrari build. So this is a 95 Ferrari F355. You guys know it, you guys seen a bunch of videos on it. And the engine's out. I put the engine somewhere over there behind Andrew's Mini. By the way, Mini for sale, nothing wrong with it. It's a great Mini. Just hit me up or email me or something. It's a great little car, Cooper S. So I took the engine out of this Ferrari and it's looking pretty bare, but what I wanna do in the next video on this car is just get all these sort of burnt pieces out of the engine bay and also prep this metal to get a little bit of paint on it because I don't want it to rust. Now this is okay because I'm probably gonna be taking this off. I am on the hunt for a hardtop car, and I did find a hardtop car. A lot of you sent me a listing for a hardtop car that was on an insurance auction, but that got taken out at the last minute and I wasn't able to bid on it. So as of now, I don't have a roof solution. There are a few people who have offered me a roof, but the roof sometimes is cut like right here, and I'd have to weld a piece of metal on, or it's grafted over here. And honestly, I want an entire car. I think that's probably the best thing to do because I could just take this entire panel off at the spot welds and then have an OEM solution without having to worry about welding to this metal right here. But I am working with a company called Spur Parts, and they are providing a lot of the parts for this car. They have a ton of Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Bentleys and all that stuff. So yeah, that's a really good thing to happen. So it's just gonna be more cleanup, and hopefully I can get the engine running, which is over here in all its glory. This I'm trying to save. So right now I'm waiting on some timing components. I wanna see if it turns over, and I'm looking into an all-in-one, a standalone ECU. That way I can potentially run this engine when it's not in the car, so that's gonna be really cool. I'll just have it right here in its cradle, and we'll just give it some fuel, we'll give it some spark, we'll give it some oil, and it should run, hopefully. So that's the plan for this. I want to clean this up. I want to get a sandblaster. I want to sandblast all these components and make sure that it's running as well as it can. Also, I'm going to get new gaskets. I'm going to powder coat the valve covers here, and also paint this frame. Maybe I'll do a powder coating, maybe I'll just do a rattle can, I'm not sure, but this definitely needs to get redone. And now onto the Supra. It's looking really good with those wheels. I'm trying to get some tires set up for this car just so I can roll it, but this looks amazing. I can't wait to see what this actually handles like and performs like. But the performance is actually a little bit lacking because the stock engine is still here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off the head, gonna put in a new head and turbo and all that stuff. I am trying to get in touch with Precision to perhaps use one of their turbos. I really like the 6266. I do have a Borg Warner EFR 8374, but honestly, I think the 6266 would probably work a little bit better on this, just because I have all the components for the turbo kit, and CX Racing sent me a lot of stuff. So we have the manifold, we have the downpipe, we have the exhaust, we have some body panels down there, but we have a full exhaust, we have the intercooler for the MK4, we have a steering wheel. CX Racing didn't send me this, but this is a JDM IS300 steering wheel. We have a bunch of maintenance components. We have water pump, we have all the stuff to make the head basically brand new. We have a gasket set, which is somewhere. Oh, it's up here, genuine gasket set. And we have interior components. This is actually kind of hard to get. So this is a brand new center panel for the dash, and it's looking really good because it's brand new, and mine is looking really bad because it's old. I also have this door panel switch, and that's also brand new, and we are going to be installing all that in the coming weeks. Hopefully this should be a quick build. I don't think there's anything here that should be reinventing the wheel. It is all stuff that's been done before. I just want to make a car that is responsive. I want to make a car that handles great, and I just want to make a car that looks good as well. But since this is a sports car build, the opposite of that is going to be a luxury car build, and this is completely different, and this is going to be as stock as possible. Well, as stock as I'll allow it, but this engine needs to go. And a good piece of news about this engine is that I got another one. Check that out. So you ever seen a Bentley engine outside of its engine bay? It's actually pretty compact. This W12, it's no longer than like a 6-cylinder. Actually, it's no longer than I'd say a 4-cylinder. It's pretty short, just goes from here to here. I think it's like 2 feet, and it's really compact. It's really wide. Oh yeah, that's gonna be easy to install. So this is a 2006 Bentley Continental Flying Spur engine, and it should be identical to the one in the Continental GT. So I got this engine from Fur Parts, the same people that are working with me on that Ferrari, so they have a lot of stuff, and it seems to be in really good condition. They also gave me the ECUs, which was nice of them. I'm not sure if these are gonna work necessarily because I think the ECUs are matched to the key, but I might be wrong on that one. But this looks in a lot better shape. This is actually 40,000 miles instead of that car, which is, I have no idea how many miles there are. Obviously it's a used engine, but there's no obvious oil leaks. There's no obvious damage or anything. This came out of a car that was crashed, but everything looks pretty solid, pretty clean. And if we come around the back, we can actually see if there's any shaft play in these turbos. Now it's gonna be hard to see in here, but there's a turbo. You just grab it by the shaft, giggity, and there should be a very tiny amount of wiggle room, just because these are journal bearing turbos, and they have to ride on a thin film of oil. So you should have a little bit of side to side movement, very, very small. If it's a lot, if it's excessive, and you actually have the turbo blade hitting the side of the housing, that's bad. And I think the turbo on my car is probably bad. So yeah, that is fine. And we'll check this turbo. Yeah, that's pretty tight. So these turbos are good. I'm not gonna need to replace them. So this engine is going in that car as soon as I get that installed. And let me go over everything I got here. So a few days on my Instagram, I mentioned that Santa ain't got nothing on BenPack, and that is true. There is a lot here. So we're not gonna go over every single thing because I don't wanna do an unboxing. I'd be here literally all day. But here's the gist of it. This is, I believe, 20-gallon air evac oil drain. This is basically for oil changes and fluid changes and all that stuff. But you have to do this on a lift, and I have a few of those. So I have a 4-post lift here, and this one is really long. Shout out to Vision Conveyor. Thank you so much to them that they got this off the truck with their awesome forklift skills. AJ, you're the man. But right here is the 2-post lift, and the 2-post lift is probably gonna live somewhere around here, and that's why we have these lights a little bit higher than the rest. So we have the 2-post and the 4-post, and then we have all that stuff, which is engine stands and engine hoists and car dollies and all that sort of goodness, because there's gonna be a lot of work going on in this shop. That big box over there, actually, I don't even know what that is. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I remember because I see the label on the side. It's a Cool Boss. It's a portable evaporative air cooler. And I know some of you have said that this does not work in the humid environment of Florida. And while that may be true, it does work a little bit better in something like Arizona or California. It still is a fan, and fans are worth their weight in gold here, because when it gets hot, it's just gonna be hot everywhere because there's insulation and it's gonna be muggy. And I'd rather have some airflow with that than no airflow at all. And we need this air compressor because some of the components for the lifts and all that stuff is air powered. And I'm also getting some tire changing machines in the future. So in order to run this, I couldn't use the stock electricity in the shop. Even though the shop is a shop, it didn't have 220 going everywhere. So 220 volts rather than the 110 or 120 volt usual residential outlets. So what I did was I did it myself. And when I say I did it myself, I enlisted the help of a friend who was a licensed electrician. So we basically bought all the components to run all the wiring. We got all the right wiring, got THHN, we got the right gauge. I made sure everything was 100% up to code. And we just did it ourselves because when I went to an electrician shop to quote how much this would be in terms of labor and cost, they told me, wait for it, $5,500. In order to put 3 receptacles in my shop, it would have cost $5,500, and I actually bought all this stuff for around $500 and did it myself. It took about 2.5 hours, and this is with us kind of BSing the whole way. So for the electrical nerds out there, we use 3/4 EMT conduit. We bent it where applicable, and we put those straps where needed, and everything is up to code. We used 10 gauge THHN line. We made sure that everything was grounded properly, and we have everything on its own breaker. We got 30 amp breakers for the 220. So we have right here, we got 30 amp, 30 amp, and 30 amp. So it used to be just one plug, like an RV plug, which is a 50 amp, and we just converted that to a 30 amp with a 30 amp plug. So these two are gonna be running, one is gonna be running my air compressor, and the other one's gonna be running perhaps a lift. So I have everything kind of nice and neat in this little corner. And if we ever need to run something else, it is not gonna be a problem. All we have to do is run another line from the box just up here and down there. I can't wait to get working on all this stuff. Okay, so the 4-post lift is gonna be right over there where all my parts and that mystery car is. Now, I'm not gonna unveil what that mystery car really is because this is for a build that's upcoming. You're gonna see this in early February, not only on my channel, but another person's channel as well. It's gonna be a tandem build, and this is gonna be a lot of fun. But this thing, I also will not unveil because this is gonna be on my Wrench Everyday channel. This is the second channel where we do sort of budget mods because I don't think these are necessarily budget friendly. So this is gonna be a budget build. If you guys think you know, then let me know in the comments, and I'll let you know if you're right or wrong. And if you're right, I just won't say anything. But you'll see this thing maybe even next week on the Wrench Everyday channel, so go subscribe right now. Everything here is a project, but it's gonna be a short-term project. I know a lot of you have had some issues with the fact that the Lambo took a long time, and this way you guys have a lot of variety to choose from. If you want something cheap, you can go to Wrench Everyday. If you want something Japanese, if you want something luxurious, if you want something a little bit higher horsepower or higher strung, if you want a depreciated luxury daily driver, well, there you go. So that's gonna be it for today. I hope you were updated, and I want you guys to be hopeful for the future because all this stuff is gonna be installed in the next few days, and it's just gonna be glorious. I can't wait to get the Bentley up there and the Ferrari and all that stuff. Woo, I'm so excited. So if you want to contact me, you can do so at the social links down below. All the stuff that I talked about, all the equipment and all that stuff down below, links for everything is gonna be there. And if you want to buy a shirt, this is not my shirt. Auto Tempest is a good sponsor, and they also have some pretty good hoodies. If you want to buy a shirt, you can do so at the Teespring link down below. Every dollar from profit goes directly to charity. And definitely subscribe to Wrench Everyday. You're gonna love this car, especially if you love the cheap builds like I do. I really like cheap builds. But this is me reminding you guys that on cars like all of these, you guys need to wrench every day.